St. Louis will be playing at the Dome at America's Center. We talked a lot about St. Louis, the first team that broke news last week, over a week ago, and they are playing in the former home of the Rams. The Dome holds 67,000 plus, 26-year-old, actual legitimate American football-sized stadium, indoors. Obviously, we talked about the city getting a team, Jake. That's great news. They deserve it. What about the stadium? What about the atmosphere? Do they have an advantage playing in a dome? Is it a disadvantage because it's so big? What are your thoughts on St. Louis?
Well, like I said last week, it is time for St. Louis to show up. They need to pack that dome, and I do think the home opener is going to be big. It's going to be loud in there.
I think this would be the craziest in the first week, February 8th.
I would agree for this place because, and perhaps they have the advantage just out of spite, that their team that they still supported, they packed up and went for Hollywood. And so, I expect week one, this place to have the loudest crowd and put the most butts in the seats. I don't know if you're going to put 67,000 in them.
I think they could come close in week one, and you know what I'm doing if I'm the league. February 8th, that first game you have in the big primetime slot, you put L.A. on the road in St. Louis, Vince.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about a rivalry. This is probably the city I most got my eye on. They were the first announced. We had the gentleman from the news broadcast on our show. You could
Frank
go back,
Cusimano.
Yeah, you could go back in the archives, listen to the interview with him. We've had fans from St. Louis just clamoring for an XFL team.
The XFL came out with Twitter accounts for all the teams, and St. Louis is leading with the most followers.
They're talking a whole lot of yang here, and with the announcement from Mr. Luck that we're going to have very affordable ticket prices, I would expect, with all the talk they're having, that this team can fill up this stadium and really put on a good show, and we're going to find out. I'm challenging them to stand up and fill that barn.
Stand up, St. Louis, in the Dome at America's Center. That is going to be rocking at least week one. We'll see how it sustains. That might just depend on the quality of the play, as we say.